Okay. Hi, Oksana.
Hi, Ewelina. How are you?
Okay. Very good. And what about you?
I'm pretty good, thanks.
That's great. Okay, so we have another investigation. I think we should get down to business immediately because the
Right,
topic is
me
really
too.
interesting. Okay,
Okay,
so
I'm ready.
close your eyes, make yourself as comfortable as possible. I know you enter hypnosis really quickly, but I want you to take your time, so I will count from 5 to 1 and you will just relax. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now I will count from 1 to 3, and on 3 you will connect with the words Roswell, New Mexico, early July 1947. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, I see the flying saucer.
Mhm.
Flying, it goes like this. I see the sky, and all of a sudden, it's like a portal opens, and I see the round shaped, metallic looking spacecraft, and it just falls down full speed. It was coming out, just kind of like crashing down, and you see that there are mountains there. It's
Mhm.
just like nothing around really, just open space, almost like it was trying to land, but it didn't. But I see inside some tall grays. There's quite a few of them. You know what's interesting? It's almost like some of them, there were a lot of them before they
Mhm.
entered that portal. And when there's something happened that the vibration of the whole aircraft with those tall grays inside, they started, looks like they started converting their density from non-physical to physical,
Mhm.
to depth, and then they just uh, something went wrong. It's almost like a technical problem, but uh, not only the spacecraft's problem, but the portal's problem too, because something about the Earth's energies in that particular portal, it's almost like a gate that closed up in front of them and made them bang against it, and then they went through, which got, so there's no resonance. They usually go into resonance,
Mhm.
as I understand, because there is some sort of energetic waves going around the portal, and those energetic waves did the electrical, so it's like how do you call it? Non-resonance waves
Mhm.
that start going back quickly, and they just lost control of the craft. That's all.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, I understand why the portal is not working. That's something about the military. related. There's military operation there. It just comes up. They were doing some. They were just, they're searching for portals and they know where the portals are. And they were trying to install a trap to catch, because there was some sort of military slash government slash alien data exchange going on related to technologies, and that's what caused it, because they wanted, it's almost like they wanted to receive the information from the aliens for free type thing. That's why they're organized. It's organized, from the human perspective.
Okay, so let's move on. On July 8th, 1947, the Roswell Daily Record, a local newspaper, said, RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in the Roswell region, and that statement was denied 24 hours later as it was claimed that it was only a weather balloon. Why was this news denied?
Because they didn't want the public to know. They felt the public wasn't ready. It was a secret military operation, and they did not want that to be disclosed. And also, on the other hand, it was some sort of experiment going on human consciousness. Would people suspect something? If they do, what would be the percentage of the people of the population? Would they rather believe the government? What would happen? Because we're trying to test, what if this kind of event happens without their knowledge? Because it's possible too. Testing military operation. There's also coordination behind the forces. There's almost like lines of different groups of alien groups standing behind humans. I see like reptilians, those very tall reptilians with thick tails. Now standing behind people, and the Greys, they're more like Nordics behind them, and Mantis people, and some tall gray giants like creatures too, because they all collect like a raw material from Earth, meaning they want our genetics in exchange, and they given humans technology. I just see some it's almost like sheets of paper, but it's not sheets of paper, because they become transparent in, let's say, when something happens to the spacecraft. They can convert them and dissolve them almost like in thin air, and those contain some information with how to build engines on liquid crystals, free energy, then regeneration, spacecrafts like theirs, and different wavelengths weapons, depends on the length, like wavelengths, and technologies related to controlling human consciousness. That's what the government wants, but the government just the puppets, really. There's this reptilians are the ones who want it.
Okay, you've already kind of answered the next question, but I will ask it anyway because maybe you will get more information about that. Connect with what really happened near Roswell and tell me details about it.
So there's I see there is a military operation called Roswell. It was it was on paper, all the steps, everything. The portal was there. They knew that. They knew when the crafts were coming through. They have some alien technology provided by reptilians
Mm-hmm.
who are pretending that they are cooperating and friends with the government, but in fact they're just controlling through them. Um, and there was planned to capture craft that they so they had the date almost,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not exactly that they're using the time. It's like they adjust the time and they tell the time adjustment in codes. When they were gonna come this way, they knew exactly. And I see some from under the ground laboratories, and there are quite a few of them. There's some sort of centrifuge, and there's 3 or 4, and they start rotating right under the ground. And they send like waves, energy waves. And this energy waves push the portal sides, and they make it. They change the frequency, so it's kind of like closed portal in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go through it, you're already in the portal. When you change the frequency of the waves, this is what they did. It was going fine, but then all of a sudden, when they were about to emerge into 3D density, they emerged, but the spacecraft didn't convert into the
Mm-hmm.
density, and their bodies, their minds connected with the spacecraft. So it's like a one entity going through the portal, and that's why altogether they just didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Went down, and that's when. So I see the military coming up right there because they knew when it was going to happen, and they're trying to search inside, but they realized they couldn't completely cover it up like they originally thought they could, and they would. So there's leakage of information. I feel that there's too many people involved.
Mm-hmm.
Some local people from far away. I mean, it's not that close, but they saw something in the sky, and it's like a rumor started. So they had to disprove the rumor
Mm-hmm.
among the people. Some of them even saw it because they drove by cars, but they wouldn't let them through. There's like all of a sudden, there's the police, there's a lot of people, there's FBI. I see like standing all over the place, like rows of cars there, and they got something out of it. They got some box, some data, some box filled with database. It was like a quantum computer type thing because they put it in the metallic container so nobody would see. It looks like a safe,
Mm-hmm.
and they brought it to some. It's like a military facility. What's interesting, it's actually not underground, even though underground there's huge laboratories connected to it, because I see them going up and down. But it's like a one-story building. It's right here, and they put there's 4 alien died, and then another died. Then there were like 2 who survived the most, from what I see. And they were trying to connect. There's some military people who are trying to connect with them telepathically.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, when they're in their rooms, there are reptilians who are already reading off of their mind. But that's when they would take them down to the labs through the capsule-looking elevators from their rooms. People at the human level, they didn't know much information. Now, it was mostly done for the alien races, reptilians, mostly, to because those are from Zeta Reticuli, those tall rays, and also there's a one, but that one died right away. I see it looks like a giant bee type creature. It was a big eyes, triangular face. That was dead, but I see it now in some sort of container, like they're studying exoskeleton of some sort, what's inside and how it works. It's a hybrid.
Okay. We'll come back to that later on. So let's move on for now with the questions. You've also already answered that, but the next question, but I will ask it anyway. Have any eyewitness seen what happened in Roswell? Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah, but the worst, the government would scare them. The government officials, I feel like there was suppression of the right to speak up about it.
Okay. It has been reported that Mr. and Mrs. Wilmot, who had a ranch in Travis County, located about 100 kilometers northwest of Roswell, informed the authorities about some remains they found on their property after a crash. Ask the subliminal parts of the Wilmots if they want to release information about what happened. Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah.
Check their DNA first of all. Make sure that's really them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're together.
Okay. So what did they see, hear, or perceive?
They say explosion right away, and what came to me though were two more of those saucers, and they saw that. They said two more, and then I see. I can't explain the device, but I see it's almost like a vortex coming through the sky that's sucking those in, and almost like a vacuum sucking them in, even though partially they lost parts of their spacecraft. But there was something important in those crafts, and that's a protocol that a lot of times when the crafts go into this 3D density, they are watched by their species because they do not want to share information. So if something happens on the way, there's some technology that would extract them from this reality, and that's what they saw. It's almost like they got taken away right away from the sky. They didn't even hit the ground, which is weird, but that's what I see. And then the little pieces of that material landed exactly on there. There's like a big fence, animals and cows, and they found the metallic pieces, and it doesn't look like anything we have on Earth. That's what caught the attention. But they got scared by the authorities. They were threatened not to spread the information, even though they did. I see some journals. They wrote down something about it.
Okay, and is there any top secret information they've never revealed? Yes or no?
Yes.
And will they release it in the here and now? Can they do that?
They said yes, um, but that's all they see. It's like they didn't get their hands on any specific information or anything. They just actually saw it with their own eyes. The spacecraft um, exploding, but not exploding like we see it. What I see, it's like a spacecraft coming at me, and it starts shaking, and you see the waves, and it gets like, it's almost like dissolves in the air type thing. Because it tries to, one of them was trying to make a U-turn back, and then another one starts kind of falling apart because the material starts melting literally in the sky and falling down. When it hits the ground from liquid, it gets hard, and that's what they saw. And then they saw this opening in the atmosphere, and that vortex sucking this two spaceships in, which they were shocked about it. That's why they decided to tell the authorities about it, because they wanted to know more. They were very curious about it themselves. But they just wrote down that, and they wanted the public to know the spacecrafts exist. They didn't see any aliens or anything like this. It was just that. But they started suspecting things, from now on. It's like a disclosure they didn't want the public to know yet, because I feel it's a year like a volcano, there's a lot of activity was going on in terms of contracts with aliens, dominions on Earth, dividing the forces and human resources on Earth. So there was quite a war going in between different races, and the government was trying to cover it up, that they started to actively deal with them.
Okay. Eyewitnesses have stated that they found some metal plates which were parts of an alien hull that fell in Roswell, and strange symbols were engraved on those metal plates. Do you perceive this news as true? Yes or no?
Yes, there are some symbols. I'm trying to look at it.
I will help you. I will count to 3 and you will find yourself in front of these plates and decode the symbols. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, it's actually like a circle, and there's like a triangle in it. Triangle goes like this, and goes inside and forms another triangle, another. It's almost like a significance of what comes to me is that a reticuli, and also that they are this space travelers. They can convert from one reality to another easily. This triangle also like an alliance. The alliance between Nordics, tall grays, and the reptilians. Man, that's a sign. There's also like um, different. It's almost like a language, like letters. Some of the letters like numbers type thing, but they're not like our numbers by any means. Like they do the ship count, like spaceship count, and different spaceships are involved in different operations. This one particular is the one that they use for this kind of purposes. It's supposed to have functions that the other ones might not have. Let's say the ones who are participating in the war. Like there's classification of some sort, and there's just like a number, like any object like we buy at the store has a number encoded in it. That's some sort of like the type of spacecraft. Other than that, but this triangle I do see clearly, and they also have the same on their suits, which are like second skin suits, really. On the left shoulder, the triangle, and they touch it. They touch it to, when they have the intention to go through portal, they touch the triangle. It somehow unites their mind control with the help of this touch. They go easily through the portal. There's something about the conversion of their vibration to go smoothly through. They touch it. I see them do it. With these 4 fingers, one of the fingers touches it in the middle. So that's
Okay, and who do these plates belong to?
oh, that's this big. So basically, it's like a mothership in a way, with the smaller 2 ships. But they ended like the mothership goes there, what I see, and the other ones are to the side. And that's when you're talking about the ranch and the house was a big fence. That's those people. They saw the 2. It's like escort, something like this. There was supposed to be a delegation type thing of alien group coming to negotiate something, and they were bringing technological advances for the reptilians, but reptilians didn't want to give them human resources as much as they asked for. That's why it was planned to just grab it by force without barter exchange. But the humans, the army, didn't really know of the plan behind their backs, so some of them were caught unexpectedly. The higher level military knew about its coming, and they knew that they were gonna it's in parentheses, like shut it down, but they really didn't. They just used colliders to amplify the waves, to kind of like convert the portal into non-go through portal type thing. So.
Okay. The next question, you've also already kind of answered it, but I'll ask it, maybe you'll get some more information. Are the events in Roswell accidental, or do they follow a plan or project?
No, it's a project. It's a huge project. That's when it's like a war. It's like a war in humanity, and also a division of humanity between alien races and the government. The government is unaware that they're puppets in the hands of reptilians and other groups. So there's multi-level communication system with the conflict and war going inside. For the basically what it comes down to is they value the most the DNA of humans. That's all they want. And they want the access to this DNA lab called Earth to harvest the genetic material. That's what's behind all of it.
And the last question in the protocol, what interests or reasons lie behind the Roswell incident? I think you've already answered it, but maybe you'll get some more information right now.
And yeah, the DNA were just, it's almost like I see the big history is like a tale that I see, and They try to genetically modify us so many times, diminish us, make us less and less powerful with their genetic experiments. But that aspect that they divided our conscious and subconscious, and we're still never lost the creative ability. That's what I feel is they really interested in. That's Roosevelt. There's also this thing that they are supposed to give us. I see like a drops falling from the sky, and understand they're supposed to give us little bits and pieces of information of truth, what's going on. But our level of consciousness, especially back then, was very low, and the freedom of speech. I just see a lot of people who saw it and they're scared. I see some people disappeared. I see some people in prison, like a few, because they were trying to spread information. And that way they were trying to scare people. It was something that they thought they could keep local to themselves, but it became known to the whole world. Yeah, no, I don't know what else to add, but it's just a huge military operation, that's all, and all the races, I just see them in groups, and each group has like energetic ties attached to each country, and who owns the most human resources? That's what the most important thing, because technologies, I mean, it's almost like they captured that, used our technologies to advance them, what we had on millions of years ago, what humans had, keep coming, giving us our own technology, but advanced by them. But in return, they get our genetic information because something in the DNA that they like to get in certain humans that carry it's almost like the word intergalactic DNA and came. So.
Okay, that's the end of the official protocol, so now we can freely explore this topic, and I would like to return to these three ships. You said there was a mothership and two smaller vehicles. How do you see them? What's the form you see? What did they look like?
The round form, very much like the jaw. Like those round with the thing on top, and that you cannot fit too many of them. So basically, the small ones had only two aliens controlling them. The mothership it shows 4-5. But it can carry a lot more. They just didn't want to do it. There's a certain group. I feel like there's, it's like we have diplomats. I feel like certain aliens, they are divided by the rules, and they're according to the characteristics, according to the programs they download into themselves. They know what to do in certain situations, and when they go to negotiate, like they were going to negotiate, they do it a lot now too, like that. But it just, if there's a crash, we don't know about it. There's technologies now to cover it up. You know what I see when I said technologies? It's almost like holographic tube that you can put. It comes from the either from the underground or from the atmosphere, generated by some military jet, and the whole thing becomes invisible. Like if it's a crash or just a spacecraft, they can make it invisible. Not only that the spacecraft itself can make itself invisible, but it can literally, they can literally like project a picture of a mountain, and you would think it's a mountain there, not a spacecraft.
Okay, and did these aliens inside belong only to one species, or who was inside basically? What did they look like?
Yeah, they're very tall, gray.
Mhm.
Not the small grays, but those are very tall like that.
Mhm.
And the noses are kind of funny, some of them. Like the captain type thing on the big ship, on the mother
Mhm.
one, had the nose kind of slide up, like more protruded,
Mhm.
with the skin layers almost like hanging one onto another. He's a hybrid. He's a hybrid with some gray giants because his head is huge. Like
Mhm.
it's round, but the cranium is gigantic. He was the one controlling the other ones, and I feel like he had more. He lived for longer. He had more programs in them. Almost feel like they're programmed, but they are more. They have like consciousness. But it's not theirs. They
So whose?
connected.
Mhm.
They connected to humans. They connected to humans because the energetic cords, if you look closer, they go to the earth.
Mhm.
They're feeding off of humans. It's like the empty vessel, really. But they're so dependent on us that they're constantly. And those little grays,
Mhm.
they are not connected to human consciousness or our energy by any means. Those are the ones like program. You put a disc in and he does what you want him to do, like a dog, or but our dogs have souls and they don't. So um, the tall ones, very tall, 4 fingers. At the end of the finger, it's like a little pillow type thingy.
Mhm.
Like it gets a little bigger. That's on the big guy, and the smaller ones are very long fingers with almost like a nails, but they're very sharp.
Mhm.
Mm, that's all. But they're related to Orion, Draconians. It's just some sort of, because I see the connection, like is that an articuli?
Mhm.
Reticuli is an eye at the end, and the Orion, and that is what is on there.
So
Maybe.
that's where they came from? Orion or somewhere else?
No, those tall grays from Z reticuli.
Mhm.
That's how I see it. And there's a lot of planets there, a lot. And but I see them here, and Orion is closer to me.
Mhm.
That's how I see it. Like you have to fly longer to get to them. In our terms, and it's like a coalition. They are partners in hybridization programs, in colonization programs,
Mhm.
in using humans as slave resource. That's what I strongly feel about them. They convert the planets into some sort of dead planets, and then they colonized them with the hybrids that they raise on Orion by using human DNA. And that's also like another triangle, because I keep seeing the triangle signs everywhere.
Hmm?
And there's one triangle with the snakes in it too, with like a cobra, with a tongue sticking out. And it looks like it's those Orion group, one of the Orion group on Orion, because it lit up one of the planets.
So if that triangle symbol keeps repeating, keeps reappearing, see what it actually means. What is it?
Yeah, it's huh. So it's really interesting because I see like Matryoshka now. I see the reptilians, and from them come the draconians.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like as if reptilians are the most ancient. They
Okay.
hybridized themselves, connected it to the DNA of other reptilian group, and that's where you got draconians.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got reptilian human hybrids. That's like one of the triangles, another one. Hmm. They derive strengths in this triangle. It's a sort of, I feel it's almost for them. It's an energy amplifier and collector. The
Mm-hmm.
triangle. It can receive information. It can take information. It can keep it inside. I see that they have crystals in shape of pyramids on
Mm-hmm.
their spacecrafts too, and they hold them when they, how we type Google,
Mm-hmm.
ask a question. That's what they do. I see the big reptilian, like huge reptilian hand, holding a crystal. It's absolutely white, transparent, and he almost like connects with the crystal, telepathically asks him a question, and it gives him the answer. And they're all over the place. They have them everywhere. In the labs, they put information through their hands by touching them from their mind. Like say the experiment is going on. I see they got the conclusion and they put it into crystal as information through their hand touching technology.
Okay. So let's go back to the Roswell situation. You said about these negotiations that they were bringing some technology which they actually stole from humans many years ago. I'd like you to take a look and see what types of technology are these.
Uh, it would came to me right away when you were asking the question, preparing for the
Mm-hmm.
warfare, technology to use, genetics, very strong. There's like almost like two books of contracts with aliens. The
Mm-hmm.
one of them, they wanted to create a race that's more like those tall whites involved in it, in this
Mm-hmm.
project. A human race, they would carry the genes of Atlantis and Lemurian that they're most interested in. And they enhance those genes in hybrids they make with themselves, with their own DNA. I think they're very important. It's like they have this pineal gland completely open, like a window to the sky. That's what I see. Through that window, they become one with subconscious. They can create by thought. Even in 3D, the speed of their creation is so fast. And and also this kind of hybrids, they are perfect for they in resonance with the body of tall whites, and that the body can walk into it and use it on Earth to control humans, so they wouldn't need to use a third person. Let's say like a race of humans with certain DNA. They can create their own hybrids and put them on Earth, who would easily blend into our society and our Scandinavian type people looking, and they're considered beautiful too, so they can put them as main players in a lot of industries and create a cult of that particular um, features of a human as the most beautiful, you know. There's something related, very strongly related to this, what they were trying to do during the World War, but there were a lot of traps. You know, a lot of agendas crashing together. Mm. It's like a preparation for the war. So that's why the technology exchange was there, the communication, because those who were on the spacecrafts were supposed to talk to the presidents and higher. But of course, those were the reptilians indeed. I mean, they weren't themselves. They weren't like, uh, it's like a glove. You put a glove on a reptilian hand, and the reptilian is moving it really. So,
And are they still preparing for war at the present moment, or did it change somehow within
it's like a
these 8
spiral.
years?
What I see like a metallic spiral, but it's actually an energetic one when you touch it. Um, cycles, and they had to wait for certain cycles to pass to come back to make a loop, come back to the same kind of situation in the world right now, which I feel like energetically it's very close to the beginning of the war in 1941. There's a correlation. That's when people are distracted with economy falling and all this, and for that's what they want us to be distracted and separated so they can do their agenda. The agenda is different this time, but the protocol is the same. The steps are almost the same, just use different, let's say, biological weapon this time than before. It was more simplistic what they used. Now it's more advanced.
And how many cycles have there already been before that one?
7.
And what's the time difference between one and the other cycle? How many years pass or centuries?
72, 73 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I see them stretching.
Okay.
Time is so funny. It's like it looks like every time you say how many years, I see like a bubble, and you can stretch and contract it. And the bubble is put over our reality, which is like a disk on computer. And we're inside that, like a snow globe. That's
And
we're
what does
inside.
this bubble do?
It's it cuts us off of the real reality, which is no space, no time, just now. And from now, everything sprouts. Like you shoot your thought to different parallel lives, and you exist there at the same time. As you're the main projector of those lives, and you're projecting them and looking at them from your perspective. They cut us off from that by that time bubble. So we're kept inside and thinking that that's the only thing that exists. Nothing else behind the walls of that reality that we're in.
And when did that happen? When did they put that bubble around us, around Earth?
Yeah, I see dinosaurs. I see them. The earth shaking.
Mm-hmm.
The hot climate turns into Arctic in some places. The continents emerge from the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a huge, one big, huge ocean on Earth, and that's when the war happens. I see almost like bombs exploding, but it's meteors
Mm-hmm.
filled with some technology that explodes and pushes the earth off of the on the side. That kind of leans down. That's when the climate change happens,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when it's vulnerable enough and the vibration goes down, down, down. That's how they caught it. They caught it on this vibration going down. They all of a sudden, it was so easy to enter it and capture it and put the bubble of different
Mm-hmm.
reality over.
Okay, so let's go back once again to the Roswell topic. There is this famous alien autopsy video depicting an alien body which was recovered from that flying disc that crashed near Roswell. And later on, the author of this video admitted that it was only a reconstruction of the original footage he saw. So tell me, first of all, did that original footage really exist? Was this autopsy really performed?
Autopsies were performed
Mm-hmm.
underground facilities. I see big room, very bright.
Mm-hmm.
I see doctors who
Mm-hmm.
work for the military doing it.
Okay.
But I see some like witnesses, like people who saw it. But the video is like when you start talking, I see like fake, fake, fake.
Okay.
And they trying to, they put down in writing somewhere at home after
Mm-hmm.
seeing what was being done. And there's some information leaked through, yes. But the actual video is just like a movie based on some true facts.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'd like us to explore that autopsy. You said that there were many autopsies performed?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at one of them, the first one that comes to your mind.
You know what they did? I see 13 rooms. I see different experts. I see them dissecting the body, but they started from the solar plexus down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a strange thing. It's like they have two hearts, like the one big connected to the little.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like navy blue colors, purple, dark purple color. The whole thing is dark purple.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just totally different. There's no stomach. Instead of that, there's some sort of like a net of capillaries with knots, like lymph nodes we have.
Mm-hmm.
It's a knots of energy and information in their body. They're located where our stomach is. Right here, there's just pulsating thing, and it's like a three-heart thing. Just
Mm-hmm.
one big, small, and there's a big and solar plexus. It doesn't look like heart. It's more like a ball of energy that is connected. That's how they get. They get the energy from humans, and through this is like a motor thing of their
Mm-hmm.
body. It circulates that energy in the body. The other hearts are like processors of um, processes and generators and receivers of commands uh, from their commander
Mm-hmm.
through their body. Mm, I see like parts of their body getting cut off and sent to 13 rooms to in those people there's some questionnaire they have on the side when they're doing the autopsy. They're supposed to answer the first question what alien race it belongs to, because those people really, that's what they do. They do autopsies on different aliens. And this is not the first time. It's a huge lab. There's so many glass. It's just like I see walls of shelves with, like in biology class, in transparent glass, you see parts. You see different brain parts, eyes that are not humans in those containers. And they write down what they think, what alien group it belongs. And then they're trying to understand the quantum physics of the molecules that combine this type of body. And it's different. It bounces off. It's like the light inside bounces off of itself and forms a body that you can touch. That the density is created like that. But then the bouncing effect. I don't know how to explain this. It's like this motor inside can amplify or slow down the bouncing effect of the light and sound inside of their bodies, and to make them more fluid and liquid and whatever form you want. I mean, when they're energy or liquid, they can literally take off their body parts and then reconnect them back. In this lab, it's just totally different. Now they caught them, they froze them, let's say, in this particular condition when they were more solid to enter the Earth's environment. They couldn't really understand much. They did take the DNA, and they realized that that's how the whole system is, like tall grays, short grays, different hybrids cloned with grays, and humans cloned with grays. There's a lot of them on Earth who I feel like they lack empathy, because the heart that is not the heart, the energy that is not really energy of their own. They're like vampires. They're like walking vampires. They take the energy from people around them and their families and friends. And they don't have that empathy, that feeling. They lack it. It's like a psychopath type person who's got a DNA of a gray.
And see what happened to that body after the autopsy. Was it stored somewhere? What happened to it?
I see it's in containers. So in containers and different organs. You know what they try to do? It's almost like a replicator technology type thing, when they collect RNA and DNA and put it in some sort of machine, like a big round metallic thing, and then you slide, put an organ inside in the container, it grows another one. And they were trying to actually see hybrids but it's different tunnel that you go through. There are military guys standing all over the place, watching in the tunnels underground. And there's a facility when they try to replicate the alien they just dissected by putting together the organs, and by reading the DNA information, you can reconstruct the body and make a hybrid.
And did they succeed?
Not really. Not really, because they're not given the technology that the alien groups have. And the alien groups don't want humans. to use this technology for something. And those are predominantly military guys in uniforms, and a lot of people. They're very old looking. Some of them are young, but mostly old in lab coats. I feel like they're using them. Some scientists that are very bright, they use their underground facilities. I see the whole army of them, but they're very suppressed. I see sadness in their eyes.
And you said it wasn't the first autopsy, so for how long has it been going on? How long did it happen?
Oh, right there. I feel like the autopsy, I mean, 2 weeks, but then around 3 weeks, they were almost like trying to interrogate those grays that they found in the crash. But they have a locked system, which means that they don't release information. They become all of a sudden secret information free, and even if they wanted to, they could not release it. They can only talk telepathically to some of the military guys. I see that they were allowed to talk to them. And at a level of just they got some information out, but it wasn't for technology. Like where you from, what you do, things like that. There's some journals in the military kept. I feel there is some that they put together, and some of the information leaked through, and it mixed up with fake information. A lot of people trying to make money on it. It's a whole industry generated from this event. It's like a big, big tail, and it goes like, and this is all the people. It's like all the people involved in after media.
So take a look at one of these journals. And what's the most important or interesting information that's in there?
Yeah, they're trying to ask them what they eat, and if they eat, how the planet looks. And they said that our planet was captured. We're slaves. And you're slaves too. Huh. It feels like that idea that we are the slave planet came from there also. And he says some of the things he said to this guy, I see him clearly. He's so American. And he didn't even said everything he received telepathically from the alien. Because the alien said, don't let this happen to your planet. Don't let them do it. Because I'm totally controlled by the alien group on top of the pyramid. That's why the pyramid sign. And those want to conquer, destroy, destruction, and use everybody in their interests. The program running. I mean, it's amazing information in terms of, I understand what he told him. He told him the structure of the society of control. And it's the same up there in those colonies on Orion, Southern Reticuli, in other galaxies, like even Andromeda. I feel like they're all controlled by these reptilians, because I see another sign. It's like a round with a reptilian hand holding a crystal. And the crystal looks like a stick with the shape like this on top. And they're after crystals. They're after the because crystals power up and in conjunction, in symbiotic cooperation, or it's like symbiosis, something with
Mhm.
the crystals and the planet's essences, that they always connect and drain the crystals first. That's how they get to the planet's core, to its soul, and then drain the soul's energy, and that's when they can control the planet. It looks like they're losing control of our planet because our crystals are becoming more alive
Mhm.
from the humans as receptors and receivers and givers. We're like looping the energy of Earth and giving it back to her, and with that energy she can mm, open up her petals.
Mhm.
Our heart's connected to her heart right now. I see like her opening up energetically.
Okay, that would be all from me. I don't know if you would like to ask something else, add something else.
Mm, no, not really. I just saw Area 51 all of a
Mhm.
sudden at the
Okay.
end. And I understand there's a lot of these crashes happened around that area.
Mhm.
And there wasn't really, they have like over this area there's like energy shield on top, and there's
Mhm.
a lot of portals. And with that energy shield, they create like a screen at the theater around. We see one thing, but we don't really see what's going on in there. Even though the
Mhm.
area is totally open, we don't see all the training and all this stuff. Holographic thing. It's an interesting thing. It's like you can put something over, creating a
Mhm.
screen of holographic images, and make it looking like this. Just like a regular house with a fence, but in fact it can be a military base.
Mhm. And does this technology work only or is present only in that area or also somewhere else on our planet?
A lot of mountains have it.
Mhm.
Alps, Tibetan mountains, even though it's hotter there, but they're there too. They're everywhere.
Mhm.
Everywhere you see mountains, they emptied out. It's really interesting. It's almost like the mountains came from under the ocean,
Mhm.
and they took everything inside and created military bases and government facilities inside of them. And the entrances to them are covered with those screens, holographic images that you don't see the entrances.
Mhm.
But then you can't really get close to some mountains either because they don't want you to. Like Alaska, there's a huge, like a city in Alaska and Antarctica, and what we see in satellite is really not what is going on in there.
Mhm.
There's like pyramids all over. It's like a city of pyramids.
And do glitches sometimes happen? Do
Yes,
some people sometimes see what's really in there?
yeah, but they can't prove it to anybody.
Mhm. Of course. Okay, thank you, Oksana. Now disconnect from everything and everyone, and we'll go back to the here and now. And I will count from 1 to 3, and on 3 you will be back here in the present moment. 1. You feel your body's waking up, and it's getting lighter and stronger. 2. You feel your body, it's really strong, and you feel happy and relaxed and serene and ready for the rest of the day, full of energy. And 3. Open your eyes. Welcome back, Oksana.
Thanks.
How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. Yeah, it was interesting. I was going back and forth because it's a whole huge system of all those spaces, and it's amazing. And we're like in between, just like sandwiched in between all those conglomerates. So
Yeah, so no wonder these things are happening if you are in between.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
easy to control and suppress with the waves. We're constantly bathing in the ocean of those waves from different facilities.
So that's not easy, but we'll make it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Buenos días.
Dzień dobry.
Bienvenidos a este primer vídeo de Disclosure en español y polaco.
Bardzo Was serdecznie witamy na tym nowym wideo, które będzie w języku hiszpańskim i polskim na kanale Disclosures.
Vamos a producir mucho más vídeos en futuro como estos vídeos informativos.
W przyszłości stworzymy dużo więcej takich wideo, które będą Was informowały o różnych rzeczach.
Porque estamos notando que cuanto más se va divulgando este trabajo, estas hipnosis por internet, también cuanto más mala información se está difundiendo.
A to dlatego, że zauważyliśmy, że im więcej wstawiamy sesji z naszymi hipnozami, tym więcej jakby informacji sprzecznych zaczyna się rozprzestrzeniać.
Y entonces hoy vamos a hablar de las sesiones investigativas.
Więc dzisiaj będziemy mówić o sesjach badawczych.
Porque estoy viendo que hay personas que a lo mejor se dedican a una sesión con una persona, se van a algún lugar, preguntan algo y lo poco de información que pueden extraer de una sesión se lo creen como si fuera oro, completamente puro oro.
Bo zauważyłem, że są takie sesje i takie osoby, które robią jedną sesję z jedną osobą na dany temat i kiedy wychodzi tam jakaś informacja, to jest ona odbierana jakby to było rzeczywiście coś niesamowicie wiarygodnego, jakby to było czyste złoto.
Yo os digo que la sesión así dicha investigativa no existe.
Ja chciałbym Wam powiedzieć, że sesja badawcza tak naprawdę nie istnieje.
Entonces podríais como preguntar, entonces cuando haces una sesión a un cliente y preguntas cosas, ¿por qué preguntas?
Więc mógłbyś mi zadać pytanie, więc skoro robisz jakąś sesję z jakąś osobą i zadajesz jej pytania, to właściwie po co je w ogóle zadajesz?
Sí, sabemos que la información en hipnosis está muy, pero de verdad muy contaminada.
My bardzo dobrze wiemy, że informacja, która wychodzi podczas hipnozy jest niezwykle, ale to niezwykle zanieczyszczona.
Y esta información, así como sale de la hipnosis, no podemos tomarla como conocimiento, como investigación.
Więc takiej informacji, która wychodzi podczas sesji hipnozy, nie bierzemy nigdy jako takiej informacji, która jest rzeczywiście bardzo prawdziwa, zgodna z prawdą i oczywista.
En el caso de sesiones a clientes, la información que sacamos nos sirve por otro objetivo. El objetivo es llegar a la causa de su problema y trabajar.
Te informacje, które uzyskujemy podczas sesji dla klientów, służą nam zupełnie do czegoś innego. Celem jest to, żeby znaleźć przyczynę i pracować nad nią.
Pero ¿qué significa que la información está contaminada? ¿Cuánto está contaminada y por qué?
Ale co to właściwie oznacza informacja zanieczyszczona? Kiedy jest zanieczyszczona i dlaczego jest zanieczyszczona?
Hay que saber que cuando nosotros pedimos una información y nos llega a través de una persona en hipnosis, esta información sale de una fuente, para así decirlo, y atraviesa muchas dimensiones muchas densidades.
Kiedy prosimy o jakąś informację podczas sesji, to ta informacja, powiedzmy to w ten sposób, pochodzi z jakiegoś źródła, ale w międzyczasie przechodzi przez wiele gęstości i wiele wymiarów.
Y también pasa por conciencias, por inteligencias. Esa información viene atrapada en el éter por varios seres.
Ale ta informacja przechodzi też przez wiele umysłów, wiele świadomości, istnieje w eterze i może być przechwycona również przez wiele bytów.
Estos seres, estas inteligencias, pueden voluntariamente o involuntariamente distorsionarla.
I te byty, te istoty lub świadomości mogą ją zniekształcić świadomie lub nieświadomie.
Y además, la persona que está en hipnosis tiene sus creencias, su mentalidad, sus perspectivas, sus opiniones. Esta estructura mental contamina también esta información.
A co więcej, osoba, która jest w stanie hipnozy, ma swoje własne przekonania, swoje własne wartości i wierzenia, swoją własną mentalność i przez tą właśnie strukturę całą mentalną również może dojść do jeszcze kolejnego zanieczyszczenia.
Y además, si nosotros queremos investigar, por ejemplo, una persona o un ser que no tiene ninguna conexión con el ambiente hipnótico donde estamos trabajando, esta persona puede no autorizar la salida de informaciones de sí mismo.
A co więcej, jeśli połączymy się z jakąś istotą, która absolutnie nie należy do tego środowiska hipnotycznego, w którym pracujemy, taka istota może nie zgodzić się na przekazanie informacji.
Si hay interacción, si hay interferencias entre un ser y otro, es posible que circule información por las conexiones, por los pactos.
Jeśli jest jakaś interferencja między dwoma istotami, to wtedy dzięki tym paktom, albo przez te pakty, przez to połączenie, które istnieje, rzeczywiście wychodzą informacje.
Pero si en aquella sesión en concreto ese ser o esa persona se va a cuestionar y no hay ninguna conexión, es muy improbable que llegue una información autorizada.
Ale jeśli zdarza się tak, że łączymy się z istotą, która nie ma z tym nic wspólnego, to jest bardzo mało prawdopodobne, że dostaniemy jakąś informację.
Entonces, imaginemos que queremos investigar sobre un personaje famoso de la historia.
No, na przykład wyobraźmy sobie, że chcielibyśmy otrzymać informację o jakiejś osobie niezwykle znanej, historycznej.
Si no tenemos de alguna manera alguna conexión con los elementos del ambiente hipnótico y esta persona, aunque no esté conectada, no autoriza esta información, pues no llega.
Więc jeśli wyobrazimy sobie, że ta osoba nie jest w żaden sposób połączona z tym środowiskiem hipnotycznym, w którym pracujemy, może się tak zdarzyć, że absolutnie nie zezwoli na żadne przekazywanie informacji na swój temat.
Y cuando pasa esto, hay siempre o casi siempre alguna entidad que se aprovecha de la situación.
I kiedy to się dzieje, zazwyczaj pojawia się jakiś byt, który wykorzystuje tę sytuację.
Se puede presentar con la supuesta identidad de la persona o del ser que estamos buscando, o puede de todas formas modificar o inventar una información por su cuenta, por su personal ventaja.
Może zrobić dwie rzeczy. Albo zidentyfikować się z osobą, o której chcemy zrobić tę sesję, przyjąć jej tożsamość, albo zmienić informacje, które chcielibyśmy otrzymać, tak aby to działało na jej korzyść.
Nosotros en sesión a clientes podemos trabajar porque el cliente nos autoriza a trabajar en su sesión.
Podczas sesji dla klientów możemy pracować nad takimi informacjami, bo otrzymujemy zgodę na informacje właśnie dzięki temu klientowi.
Y podemos trabajar con sus seres queridos, por ejemplo, o con los seres que interfieren con ella, propio porque hay estas conexiones.
I możemy pracować na przykład z istotami, które kocha ta dana osoba, lub z bytami, które w nią ingerują, właśnie przez to połączenie, które tam istnieje.
Entonces, hay una gran diferencia entre la sesión a un cliente para solucionar sus problemas y hacer sesiones para investigar.
Dlatego istnieje taka duża różnica między sesjami, które robimy dla klientów, aby rozwiązać ich problemy, i między sesjami takimi poszukiwawczymi,
Por
badawczymi.
eso, por eso digo que no existe una sesión investigativa.
I dlatego właśnie Wam mówię, że nie istnieje coś takiego jak sesja badawcza.
Lo que existe es un protocolo de sesiones de investigación.
To, co istnieje, to pewien protokół sesji badawczych.
Hay que seguir un protocolo y hay que ejecutar unas series de sesiones y con personas diferentes.
Więc trzeba zawsze śledzić ten sam protokół, a jednocześnie wykonać wiele sesji z różnymi osobami.
El protocolo tiene que ser único, unívoco, porque hay que preguntar en un tema las mismas preguntas para ir en la misma dirección.
Ten protokół powinien być zawsze taki sam, ponieważ należy zadawać takie same pytania, tak aby iść zawsze w tym samym kierunku.
Cuanto más está restringido ese espacio de investigación, cuanto más podemos tener más probabilidad de tener buena información.
Im bardziej zawężamy obszar naszych poszukiwań, tym bardziej prawdopodobne będzie, że otrzymamy dobre informacje.
Sí, podemos también aumentar ese espacio, pero tenemos que aumentar proporcionalmente el número de sesiones por hacer.
Możemy oczywiście rozszerzyć ten obszar, ale wtedy będziemy zmuszeni również rozszerzyć ilość tych sesji.
Luego, cuando tenemos una grande serie de sesiones, pero estamos hablando de centenas o hasta de millares de sesiones.
I wtedy mówimy o olbrzymiej liczbie sesji, od setki po tysiące.
Tenemos que recoger toda aquella información que es común a todas o a casi todas estas sesiones hechas.
I wtedy musimy pozbierać te informacje, które są wspólne dla wszystkich bądź prawie wszystkich tych sesji.
Esta información común vais a ver que es un porcentaje muy pequeño con respecto a la totalidad de la información.
I zobaczycie, że ta informacja wspólna będzie naprawdę niewielkim odsetkiem tych informacji, które się tam pojawią.
Son pepitas de oro.
To są takie malutkie ziarenka.
Es como si nosotros vamos a un río, vamos a coger este filtro, vamos a coger muchísima arena para recoger solo muy pocas pepitillas de oro.
I można to przyrównać do poszukiwania złota, kiedy filtruje się dno rzeki, zbiera się mnóstwo piasku, a na koniec pojawiają się maleńkie ziarenka złota.
Esa sí que es información de oro.
I to jest właśnie ta informacja złota.
Si hoy podemos decir que hay seres que interfieren bastante con el ser humano y que tienen formas de animales reptiles o de animales a forma de insectos, etcétera, es porque todo esto sale desde que se empezaron las sesiones de hipnosis y hay muchísimas, millares y millares con esta información común.
I jeśli dzisiaj możemy powiedzieć, że są ingerencje, które przybierają formy albo reptilii, albo jakichś insektów, to dlatego, że takie informacje wychodzą od początku naszych sesji hipnotycznych i są wspólne i jest ich tysiące.
Pero si yo digo que en la ciudad de Nueva York en el 1452, en aquel punto, había una casa que vivía un viejo que se llamaba Tom, pues solo en aquella sesión ha salido y cuanto más contaminada puede ser, no lo va a saber nadie.
Ale jeśli chciałabym powiedzieć, przekazać taką informację, że w Nowym Jorku w 1452 roku stał taki a taki dom, w którym mieszkał taki a taki starszy pan o imieniu Tom, to nie mam pojęcia, jak bardzo zanieczyszczona będzie ta informacja.
Así entonces se hace investigación. Es un trabajo muy largo, muy duro y tiene que ser hecho con un protocolo riguroso y severo.
A więc właśnie w taki sposób należy robić sesje badawcze. Jest to proces bardzo długi, ciężki i który wymaga bardzo restrykcyjnego protokołu.
Y entonces, por esto que nosotros ya vamos a empezar a hacer ciclos de investigación.
I właśnie dlatego zaczniemy teraz robić takie cykle badawcze.
La estructura del team, que cada vez va creciendo siempre más, y el número de clientes que cada día contactan con nosotros, nos permiten organizar estos ciclos de investigación.
I ponieważ struktura naszego zespołu cały czas się powiększa, a także liczba klientów, którzy kontaktują się z nami każdego dnia, te czynniki pozwalają nam na to, żebyśmy zrobili taki cykl badawczy.
Creo que ya he dicho todo, o casi todo. Cualquier pregunta podéis escribirla en los comentarios del vídeo o donde sea publicado el vídeo.
Myślę, że powiedziałem wszystko, bądź prawie wszystko, a jeśli macie jakieś pytania, to proszę zadajcie je pod tym wideo.
Gracias por vuestra atención.
Dziękujemy za Waszą uwagę.
Y gracias a ti, Milena.
Gracias a ti, Kalo. Dziękujemy.
Chao.
Ciao.